Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a really deep dive into the nuts and bolts of agricultural cooperative accounting. If you've ever stared at a cooperative's financial statements and just wondered, how exactly did these numbers get here? Well, you were in the perfect place. We're going to unpack the absolute bedrock of a cooperative's financial lifeblood, the capital formation phase.
So right off the bat, you gotta wonder, how does a cooperative actually take a farmer's promise and turn it into real, actionable working capital? The stakes here are incredibly real, guys. We're not just talking about some abstract numbers sitting in a ledger. We're talking about the literal seed money that buys the seeds, turning a community's shared, spoken commitment into a legally binding reality.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap to keep things simple. 1. The capital formation phase. 2. Recording initial capital subscriptions. 3. Recognizing paid-up share capital. 4. Handling non-withdrawable membership fees. And finally, 5. The final financial statements.
All right, starting us off with Section 1, the capital formation phase. So what actually is the capital formation phase? Basically, it's the initial stage where a cooperative mobilizes resources from its members to build up its financial base. And why is this so critical? Well, in an agricultural cooperative, this initial push is what provides the essential working capital they need just to procure farm inputs. It funds early, crucial operations, things like Maraba input financing and salam production support. Without this solid foundation, honestly, the cooperative just can't function or support its farmers' marketing activities. It's the starting engine.
And this phase brilliantly highlights the fundamental, philosophical difference between a cooperative and your standard, run-of-the-mill corporation. Co-op capital formation is all about member participation. It's strictly one member, one vote, no matter how much capital someone put in. It focuses heavily on building equity over time, and it features a purposefully limited return on share capital. It's a model that perfectly aligns with democratic community support, rather than just chasing outsized corporate profits.
Moving right along to Section 2, recording initial capital subscriptions.
Let's make this super concrete. Picture this scenario: the Gold Smile Agricultural Multi-Purpose Cooperative, or AMPC. Right upon registration with the Cooperative Development Authority, 60 farmer members each subscribe to 4,000 Philippine pesos in share capital to finance their future farm activities. By anchoring our math to these 60 real farmers, it brings a much-needed human element to the rigid accounting rules we're about to apply.
Now, the accounting rule states that a subscription has to be recorded even if it hasn't been fully paid up yet. So for our 60 farmers, at 4,000 pesos each, that is a total commitment of $240,000. Here's how it looks. We debit subscription receivable for $240,000, and we credit subscribed share capital for that exact same amount. This legally records their commitment as a receivable, setting up the entire equity structure on paper before a single peso even changes hands.
Which brings us to Section 3, recognizing paid-up share capital. Let's see what happens when the money actually arrives.
Now, unlike traditional accounting where cash just plops directly into equity, co-op accounting makes you do a very strict two-step dance. Step 1, the actual cash collection reduces that subscription receivable we just talked about. You debit cash, credit the receivable. Pretty standard. But then Step 2, that paid portion absolutely must be formally reclassified. It has to be moved out of subscribed share capital and into share capital paid up.
So the absolutely crucial point here, the unbending rule from the CDA, is that paid-up capital is recognized only upon actual payment and proper reclassification. You literally cannot shortcut this process. This strict separation is there to ensure the financial statements always accurately reflect what is merely a promise versus what is actually sitting in the bank. To put it in everyday terms, subscribed capital, that's the grand promise. It's the total financial commitment. Paid-up capital, that is the actual equity contribution, the cold, hard cash that has successfully changed hands. The financial statements have to clearly distinguish between these two at all times, just to maintain total transparency.
All right, on to Section 4, handling non-withdrawable membership fees. Here is a big one. Membership fees are non-withdrawable, and they should never, ever be mixed with share capital. This is the why behind keeping these funds strictly isolated. Think about it. While share capital can potentially be withdrawn if a member decides to leave the co-op, membership fees belong to the cooperative forever. Mixing them up, that just creates a massive legal and financial nightmare.
Because they are permanently excluded from share capital, these fees have a few specific pathways they can travel down. Depending on the co-op's specific policy, they might be recognized as other capital or directed straight into an institutional or general fund. Alternatively, they can be initially treated as income before being appropriated over to a membership fund. But hey, regardless of the route taken, the final destination is always legally walled off from the share capital under the equity section.
And for our grand finale, Section 5, the final financial statements.
Now, what's really interesting is when you take those strict theoretical presentation rules and stack them up directly against the actual Golden Smile AMPC records, the mechanics just become crystal clear. You see the $60,000 in paid-up share capital and the $30,000 sitting in the membership fee fund resolving perfectly. They sit there as totally separate, transparent line items, exactly the way the Cooperative Development Authority requires.
So, what does this all mean? How does this meticulous, highly transparent accounting ultimately build trust and longevity within a cooperative community? Well, the rules we cover today might seem a little rigid, but remember, a cooperative is built entirely on the concept of one member, one vote. When every single farmer can look at that balance sheet and clearly see exactly what's been promised, what's actually been paid, and what's safely locked away in reserve, you aren't just balancing books anymore. You are balancing trust. And frankly, that trust is what makes an agricultural cooperative thrive for generations. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive. I'll catch you in the next explainer.